Feature Friday.
The freshest.
Money, because this was something really interesting that happened a few months ago, or maybe a few weeks ago. I'm not sure. I just saw it come up on my YouTube. It's that Juice WRLD, who unfortunately passed away.
Mm-hmm.
His mother, you know, you have to go through this legal process of then releasing your financial stuff and all that stuff. So people found out what his net worth actually is, not what people's, not what these magazines make and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, like Louis Capaldi saying, people saying that he's worth like 100 million. And he's
He's
like,
like,
yeah, where?
Yeah.
Because in my bank account isn't.
yeah. So you got to see these really interesting figures on Juice WRLD's sort of different bank accounts and stuff like that, and goods and houses. And the guy that was breaking down the video, very insightful guy. He was breaking down all this financial stuff, and he rounded around about 2, 3, 4 million, something like that. And you're like, but this guy
Worked
was
his
the
butt
hottest
off.
rapper.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD was one of the hottest rappers in the world. You know, and okay, you know, Jesus Christ, look at us, like 3 million is not enough, you know, it's little money, but it's huge amount of money. But the amount of
But
people
compared to what
they reach,
you would
what
think,
they sell,
yeah,
the amount of ticket sales this guy makes, the amount of endorsements, sponsorships, work for the media, concerts, merch.
yeah, overall, just their
Oh, I thought you told me to press it. Sorry.
Oh no, we got 5 minutes still.
Okay.
Their overall influence in the pop culture.
And probably grossed well over 10 million.
Exactly.
You know? But then, you know, label deals,
Label deal gets a cut.
tax. You also have, you know, expenses.
Hate that word, taxes.
But so you sort of get to realize, so like, oh, hold on, well, let's put it in on a bigger scale. Let's put it in the biggest boy band in the planet,
Okay.
right? BTS.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's just figure it out. So he was probably, I wonder how, because you know there's 7 of them, so there's also earnings gotta be distributed about 7 of them, but also their label. It's not just a label. It trained them. It fed them. It gave them a house when they were broke and they were just studying and training and stuff like that. It's promoted everything. Without them, they wouldn't be BTS, right? And you know, also big hit because of BTS. You know, benefited hugely because they were about to go bankrupt.
Yep.
From the stories I hear and the documentaries we've watched. So, how much money is actually going to Jimin's pocket? How much money is going to V's pocket? How much money is going to, you know, RM's? What about Jin? What about John Cook? And then these guys also sometimes have to go to let's talk now EXO. What happens when D.O. is in the army? Like what happens in that amount in that year to his earnings? This, you know, if you were with a label and these people are streaming your songs, mate, the amount of
royalties
you get out of those streams is peanuts. Absolute peanuts. The label's probably getting like I don't even want to say percentage because I'll sound ignorant, but it's very small compared to some of the contracts I've seen. So it's really a facade, a huge facade. And then it's probably bigger in the rap game because rap culture is
about the flex.
not about the flex. It's to show what you're doing, show what you're making, show what you're worth, you know. And you probably definitely do get rappers that are coming up that are flexing harder than what they actually have, right?
But they're playing the game again.
So you know, it's not immoral. Whatever, I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it just makes me wonder, man. It's like,
how much is actually too much, and how much is actually earning at all?
no, it's not that. It's how much is it worth? How much is it worth? No social life. How much is it worth? No freedom. How much is it worth?
Your mental health getting hit, because I think one of my biggest pet peeves, I would say, about the industry is how it actually approaches.
I'd say, because I'm 1,000% with you. I would say, our opinion, I mean yours or whatever, from the limited experience and also that agenda and perspective that the media gives you and this type of videos give you, because we're not in it.
No, not
So-
at all. Yeah, that's a very good point to make. From our my personal perspective, and of course of the very scratching the surface information that we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to understand how they handle, for example, the mental health of a person like Demi Lovato.
Mm.
You know, a person like Selena Gomez,
Mm.
and Heath Ledger. You know, he was the guy who played the Joker, and in the Batman where the hospital. He won an Oscar, but
Arkham
he killed.
City.
Yeah, but he killed himself, right?
Dude, oh my gosh.
Yes, so I'm saying that suicide comes around quite often, and then you see it in the K-pop industry.
Mm-hmm.
I thought perhaps it was 3 odd people suffering from mental health and the pressure of the industry, but then you start reading articles related and like actors that collapsed and died while shooting, people that
Keep
were
coming out and
overworked
talking about it. Yeah.
and the more you see it, the more you think, wait a second, I think that's a very delicate thing that I think has been masked and put on makeup a little bit, because it's not a pretty topic to talk about.
I think it's definitely coming out more though.
It definitely way more than before, but I also think that creative people tend to be a bit more emotional, and not in a bad way, not to say we cry all the time, but I feel like we're more
aligned with feelings.
We try to tap into our emotions a bit more in order to create a better performance overall.
Yeah. I find that's the case with singer-songwriters and actors and things like that. Because you have to access your emotions now to perform.
Especially, I think I think poets and writers, people that create overall, I think if you want to give your best, you have to be in tune with your emotions, and sometimes that's a very dangerous roller coaster that you have to consciously put yourself in, and sometimes you get stuck on the low. How do you get out of it, But there's pressure of the labels, there's pressure of the publishers, there's pressure of you have to be here, you have to be there. There's also the public's opinion.
Well, this storm is happening in your head.
And you physically are in the lowest point of your life, How do you get out of that? That's why I admire so much what BTS has done.
With that album, Love Yourself, yeah.
And not only Love Yourself, but their journey, their personal journey that they have commercialized it. I thought that was a genius idea, because how do you get 7 individuals to find
common ground?
They have individually had to
artistic common ground. Weird.
And not only that, but Efra, to me the most incredible part of it all is that they individually on their own time had to stand up in their own heads, had to like stop everything and think, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and I know this is not the best place I can be, but I'm gonna take myself to a better place. But they all 7 of them did that, or are in the path of doing that, which to me that's nuts.
Yeah, maybe that
1 individual is already a success story. 7 though.
Tough. Maybe that's sorry. Then maybe that's what you refer to as family, because does seem like a family struggle. The fact that because they're all going through the same struggles together, like a family. They're all washing the dirty clothes in the same house, and so I get your point about the family bit. But the thing I completely agree with you, which and it is crazy, it's that they do seem to all be in the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's like they all
mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And one of the crazy things is, you want to create a piece of art that's relatable to anyone. Focus on what's inevitable, like struggles, feeling lost, the search for meaning, fulfillment, the ever unanswered question of what's the meaning of me, of you,
What's
of
happiness?
this.
How do I find it? Yeah.
What's happening here? If you want to look for a more relatable a piece of art, you want to create something that's very, very relatable to everyone. You got
have
it there.
to ask your questions.
And
Yeah.
that's why I really like that video we watched of was it Jin?
Yes.
Yeah, of Jin. I forgot the name. Answer something.
Epiphany.
Because and it was one of the points you brought up, that you were like, oh my god, but yeah, I feel so dumb when you say stuff like that, because now that I see it, that's exactly what it meant. But it's like, no.
Each point is valid from each perspective.
Not only that, but so there's 7 of them, right? And they're all going through similar stuff, but they all express it in different ways with the same understanding and the same concept. And
That's
then,
why I thought it was so genius.
and then seeing them go through that journey is not only inspiring, but it's very complex and in and of itself, because it's like these people who you think are perfect and are sold to you by the media as perfect and have played to the perfect standard. They're playing the game. I mean, they could come out and be like, look man, I hate this, but they don't.
Like the people from Big Bang and the people from Super Junior. They don't play to the standards and the set ideologies. They break those boundaries a bit.
They sort of break that fourth wall, because it seems like they're in a constant show.
Yes.
Right? And we're obviously the viewers, and they're the players of the movie. The thing is, movies are not real. These people don't exist. These perfect people that you idolize don't exist. They're people. And when they create pieces of content like this and music like this, it not only reinforces that idea. It's like, hey,
we're human.
We're not only human, but we're human, and we're gonna be human and here to stay with our human side, not just our perfect idea that you have of us. And then that's what I think, that's what creates the army effect. I've called it, I've decided to call it that. The army effect, because I've never seen